Alright guys, welcome back to the channel where today I thought I would share with you some of my predictions for WWE 2K22. It's in the 2 years since the release of WWE 2K20. A lot has changed in WWE, superstars have come and gone, arenas have been updated numerous times, fans have come and fans have gone, and then in the world of WWE 2K we have a new executive producer, a long list of fan requests and feedback, and 2 whole years of development time. So taking all of that into account, here are my top 7 predictions for WWE 2K22. Number 1. The full Thunderdome will be included. From the early footage that we've seen of WWE 2K22, the arena in use appears to be a hybrid arena consisting of the pre-pandemic Raw arena mixed with the overhead trons from the WWE Thunderdome, leading fans to believe that this will be the predominant style of arenas in WWE 2K22. Whilst this could be the case, and we see a hybrid arena featuring elements from the WWE Thunderdome mixed with a live crowd, my prediction for the arena is that this is just an early placeholder and that we'll likely see the full Thunderdome experience included later on. Now the reason I say this is that the initial footage of the arena comes at a time that's still very early into the game's development, and whilst it would have been a huge thing to see the Thunderdome featured in the first footage, my prediction is that 2K want to hold off showing the arena in all of its glory so that they can give it its own grand reveal a little closer to release. Prediction number 2. The game will feature a bigger NXT presence. With every game that's released in the 2K series, one thing the developers have always touted is the biggest roster ever, a feat that they've continued to push year after year, with the roster now featuring upwards of 200 superstars. This year though, that streak of having the biggest roster ever may be about to end, as since the release of WWE 2K20, more than 30 superstars have been released for the company, regular legends have started popping up in rival promotions, and rival game developers have also started snapping up stars to appear in their own games. Due to these factors, there would appear to be a lot of limitations in place when it comes to introducing new legends into the franchise. Therefore, my prediction is that 2K will look to expand the NXT roster, pulling in stars from both NXT itself and from NXT UK, both of which have a whole host of stars they could draw from. To back up this prediction, WWE 2K's executive producer Patrick Gilmore recently took to Twitter where he revealed that 2K have been scanning stars in Europe, potentially hinting at the scanning of new talent from NXT UK. This is something that also coincides with the recent behind the scenes mocap footage, as the new footage released by 2K Dev shows various moves used by both NXT and NXT UK stars, including Bronson Reed, Ilya Dragunov, Walter and Dexter Lumis. Prediction number 3. We'll see a more realistic based My Career mode. My Career mode is without doubt one of the best game modes featured in the WWE 2K series, however it's not without its criticism, as early entries in the series were firmly based in reality, whilst recent additions have seen the mode take on a more fantasy based approach in what can be seen as a complete 180 from its inception. Whilst some of the storylines featured in recent games have been memorable and more fitting of THQ era WWE, my prediction for WWE 2K22 is that 2K will look to limit the comedy and the fantasy elements and take a step back towards reality, offering up a more serious My Career mode that is more focused on in-ring rivalries rather than outside shenanigans, giving the player the chance to experience what it's really like to be a WWE superstar. Building on WWE 2K20, I also predict that we'll see the option to play as male and female My players, whether that be as part of a joint My Career mode like it was in 2K20, or even a separate My Career, as the introduction of the female My Career proved to be a very popular addition, and it would be nice to see 2K expand on that. Prediction number 4. We'll get a new control system. One of the biggest complaints about WWE 2K20 was the new control system that was introduced, as rather than making the controls easier to use and more user friendly, the controls featured in WWE 2K20 did the complete opposite, confusing players with various button combinations to press rather than the single button that was used previously. Due to this, I predict that we'll see a new control system introduced this year, one that aims to make the game a lot easier for new players to pick up and play, and one that hopefully comes with various customization options so that players can further customize the controls to their own liking. Not only would the option to customize the controls prove to be a great feature for general players, but it would also provide better accessibility for disabled gamers, as this would allow players of all disabilities to find a control scheme that works for them. Prediction number 5. Missing match types will return, but not all of them. For players that grew up playing WWE games prior to the PS4 and Xbox One generation, one criticism with the series has always been the match types that were removed when the series switched to the then new generation hardware. Match types removed included fan favourites such as Special Guest Referee, Inferno and I Quit, with this following on from the removal of even more match types in previous games such as Buried Alive. Whilst fans have long wished for these match types to return, my prediction is that this is the year that we'll finally see some of those match types make it into the game, although I don't see all of them making a return. Special Guest Referee, for example, is a match type that I could definitely see making a return, as all the necessary elements are already there. It's just a case of switching out the referee model with that of a superstar and then mapping the animations to the controller so that the player can control the count. The same can be said for the I Quit match, as there's little work to do to set this one up, as the only real change would be the addition of a new animation whenever the pin button is pressed, as well as a potential new minigame to decide if an opponent quits. Whilst these two match types should be somewhat easy to program, other match types such as Buried Alive or Inferno would take a lot more effort, as well as additional visuals, therefore I predict that these will be less likely to appear, but I do expect that we'll see some new match types. Prediction number 6. Rey Mysterio will appear on the cover. This one is more of an educated guess than it is an outright prediction, as the one constant in all of the gameplay shown so far has been Rey Mysterio, who we first seen shown off in the initial teaser trailer before 2K Dev then went behind the scenes to show off his entrance. This focus on Rey appears to mirror what we've seen in previous games, where the first footage tends to feature the cover star, or the cover stars as it was in 2K20, which when you go back to that game and you see the initial trailer for it, there is a big resemblance in how that trailer is cut when you compare it with the Rey trailer. The one difference between the two is that the 2K20 trailer dropped a lot later in the year and it included the cover reveal, whereas the Rey trailer dropped much earlier and it didn't include any cover. Based off the similarities though, and this focus on Mysterio, my prediction, and I'm sure the prediction of a lot of people watching this video, is that Rey Mysterio will be on the cover in some form, whether that be solo or alongside someone else. Prediction number 7. GM mode will make its long-awaited return. Given the results of the WWE 2K feedback program and GM mode's overwhelming dominance as the most requested feature, GM mode should be top of the list of things that 2K have been working on. If it does return, the big question is whether we'll see the game mode take on the same approach that we've seen in the SmackDown vs Raw games, or whether 2K will look to put their own stamp on the mode and offer up their own ideas, as a lot has changed since we last seen GM mode in 2008. So that's my early predictions for WWE 2K22. I would love to know what you make of them and what your predictions are for the game, as given the longer development time, this year could see a whole bunch of changes, so let me know what you predict we'll see in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, subscribe for more WWE 2K22 content, have yourself an awesome day, and I'll catch you later.